Hey everybody, Dan Andrizzi with the Andrizzi Group. I'm here today to introduce you to Tami Podell of Assisted Living Connections. She is in an industry that a lot of you may not even know exists. I know I didn't until I met her, and I've worked with her firsthand multiple times, and she's awesome, and I'm very excited to introduce her and her services to you.
Thank you, Dan.
So thanks for sitting down with us today, Tami. And before we get into exactly what you and your company does, share a little bit about what your background is and how did you get into this?
Well, a long time ago, I had another business and I had sold it. And the following day I called up to my mom and I said, "Mom, can I come and help you out?" And she was like, "I thought you'd never ask." And I didn't know that my father was at the beginning stages of dementia. They were functioning well, and being in their home on a daily basis and helping them allowed me to see what it's like for the primary caregiver to be taking care of somebody who has dementia. And when my mother went for a surgery and I was left with my father, who quickly declined, I found myself way in over my head and feeling very forlorn and alone. And I thought other people are going to be going through this. I think I was 48 at the time. And I was at the tail end of the baby boomers. And I said to my dad, "You put me in my first business, you're going to put me in my second business," because I knew people were going to need help. And I made that my mission to learn how to do that.
That's a great story. I love hearing stories where through a life experience have recognized a need and have developed a solution for that. I met you due to my father-in-law being diagnosed with dementia, some variation thereof, and now he was out of state. Just meeting you and talking to you, getting an education on exactly how this industry works, what to look for, what questions to ask, was really helpful. I think one of the biggest concerns people have is that it's very expensive, right?
It's very dependent on the situation, and we can work with all budgets. There are resources for people.
Now, I know a lot of people tend to think that there's government resources that'll pay for this. Is that really the case?
Not really the case. There are some programs that are limiting, and really assisted living is kind of like renting a place with care included. So it's private pay, and there are programs that can subsidize, but those programs are somewhat limiting.
And I presume that the facilities, if someone does have to go that route, that will accept.
Correct.
So when it comes to people paying for this, and whether they're paying cash out of pocket, there's some life insurance policies that have a long-term care rider. Do you work with those, and what's been your experience with those?
Absolutely. That's part of the initial conversation that we have with people, that we want to know, what is their Social Security? Do they have savings? Do they have a pension? Or were they a veteran? There may be a VA benefit that's special for just this purpose, just for care.
Oh, interesting.
And primarily assisted living. And if people have long-term care insurance, that's wonderful. It helps to pay for this and helps preserve their estate.
I know it's hard to generalize. Everyone's situation is different. But in general, it sounds like your experience has been positive working with these.
Definitely. I just want to add that when most people consider Medicare or Medi-Cal, those are programs that pay for health care. So that would be more like a hospital or a nursing facility, which are more institutional. And the options that we're working with are more home-like. They're homes.
They're homes. And these homes can be everything from a private home.
Correct.
To a small facility or a very large facility.
Absolutely. There's quite a variety. In this area where Dan and I are, we work with virtually every place. We are contracted the same. We are unbiased in what we recommend. We're doing a short, what we call an intake, or say a phone interview. We have a template that we go by that helps guide us to guide our clients what would be the best fit. The best fit is the most important.
And you mentioned you have no fees. So just in fairness, how do you get paid? How does someone?
So we have contracts with everybody, as mentioned, and we are part of their marketing budget. So they pay us, but not until somebody moves in. So it's a very good win-win situation. And in fact, I would say that most people actually save money going through our service because we know what things should cost. We are offered promotions and concessions and discounts. And all of the time, we're receiving text messages about when there are openings and promotions that they want to run and have us promote. To make it work for the client and the place, we are a liaison, and we can sometimes get better pricing for our clients. And furthermore, I can tell you from personal experience, at some point when it came to moving my mother, you feel like you don't want to compromise on the care by asking for a reduced price.
Right.
So when I had to do it for myself, I had to say, okay, I'm going to pay full retail.
Sure. I want everything, right? Well, so she's underselling her services. She's under-promising her services. And I'll speak from personal experience so I'll brag on her for a moment. I was shocked at the pricing she gets. And this is my personal experience, but several times through several facilities is better than they will quote us civilians.
Walking in off the street.
Talk to Tami and let her do this for you. A nice feature is you get the guidance, you get the support. It's kind of like working with a buyer's agent when you're buying your home. You can go do it yourself, or you can hire someone and not pay a dime, and we can negotiate a better price for you. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And they say call us first, right?
I know some of the common fears and concerns families have. I know one of the ones for us was we're going to move him into a home and be given an amazing tour. We're going to get all the happy talk, and the day after he moves in, everything changes. So is there anything that your company does that can alleviate this?
I'm so glad you asked. So with every client that we help move, we follow up afterward. Generally speaking, we find that the results are very good. I would say 95% of the time at least. So by following up in that way, we know which homes are working well. And if there is some wrinkles to be ironed out, we're there to help with the communication. And that's so a situation that may not be maybe stumbling a little bit, we can smooth the way. And that's also part of our service. It's not just get it done and get paid. That's not what it's about.
Sure.
It's about really supporting the client and the communities and homes.
So anything that does come up, if Tami is in your corner, then she's going to get much better results than you or I will. So what does your company do in keeping the family updated with, hey, this is what's going on now in the facility? We moved in a year ago, 5 years ago. Here's what's happening today.
Yeah, I do occasionally get calls like that, and I will counsel the client and how to deal with the place. If conditions are changing, sometimes people move. The client's needs may be changing as well. So it just really depends on what's going on.
And another thing that I like that Tami does is she personally visits these facilities on an ongoing basis, the ones that she works with.
We tour with most of our clients. We're physically on the premises. We see the other residents. We see their programming, and we see their systems and how they function.
I think it's really critical that people who are working with you have that insight into if anything is changing. Like you said, if the patient's needs are changing.
Well, I know I used to think of myself and my business partner and all of us who work in this business as lightning rods in the assisted living field, that we seem to catch all the information.
I hope what you've been able to glean, because there's so much we haven't talked about, right? I hope what you've been able to glean is that this is a complex life situation, and you don't want to practice on your mom or your dad.
I'm glad that you said it's a complex life situation, because so much of what we do is more than our knowledge about all the places and what's the right fit. A huge part of what we do is just supporting the client in everything that they need, both emotionally and with resources. I get text messages all the time that, even just this morning, something that surprised me, and maybe you'll edit this out, I don't know, but a client of mine, the husband, she let me know had passed this morning. Oh. And then she thanked me because she said, I could not have done this without your help.
Oh, wow.
So it's sad, but it's heartwarming that I could support the person.
I just think that, anyone who has a need, after you meet with Tami and have worked with her, you're going to be very happy you did. Let's end with one piece of advice that you could give somebody. Just one takeaway that you think is the most important thing you can leave everyone with today when it comes to assisted living care.
I just flashed on one of my clients who had been going out and looking on their own, and they weren't making progress. And then they were referred to me, and we went to one place, and she said, this is it. So she said, I will never try to go it alone for anything like this ever again. And I've been hearing back from her for her various situations. So my advice would be, get professional counsel, especially in this field. It's free, and it's only a win-win all the way around.
Absolutely. I think that's really, really great advice. Well, thank you very much, Tami, for sitting down with us today. For people that want to get in touch with you, please share your contact information with us.
So it's Tami Podell. I'll leave my direct phone number, 818-357-1123. Or you can call into our toll-free number, 888-880-1811. And we have a lot of Yelp reviews. People might want to check that. Our website is assistedlivingconnections.com.
assistedlivingconnections.com. So make sure you've written that down. If you misplace it, get in touch with me so I can introduce you to Tami. She does an amazing job.
Thank you, Dan.
Bye-bye.